Ninja Gaiden 3 review by Ryan McCaffrey. Normally, we have an unwritten rule at OXM that we don't review developers. We evaluate games and whether they're worth your $60 because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But when behind-the-scenes happenings with franchise creators become so dominant that they have a quantifiable, inarguable effect on your next purchase, such as the Infinity Ward scandal that led to a Modern Warfare 3 made by a very different Infinity Ward than the previous entries in the series, we believe it merits discussion and dissection. Such is the case with Ninja Gaiden 3, a fast-action romp created by a new generation of Team Ninja developers in the wake of a massive studio shakeup that included the controversy-drenched departure of team leader Tomonobu Itagaki. And like Modern Warfare 3 before it, Ninja Gaiden 3 is an excellent follow-up that's well worth your time and money. Ninja Gaiden 3 is an excellent follow-up that's well worth your time and money. Its problem, as we'll explain, is that perfection is a tough act to follow. Jesus Christ. The differences between Ninja Gaiden 3 and its predecessors are immediately apparent. As soon as you press start, you're greeted with a button-mashing QuickTime event, or QTE, as part of the intro sequence. If you're worried this sets a bad precedent for the rest of the game, well, you're half right. Whether it's a short, slow-motion knee slide, a slice through an enemy as part of the game's core, quote, steel on bone, end quote, tenet, more on that later, or a scamper up a wall with your kunai blades, these loathsome, smack dab in the middle of the screen QTEs are frequent. Most of them serve the gameplay well, except for those kunai climbs, in which the precise alternating trigger presses required are always annoying. Fortunately, you can turn off the QTE prompts in the options menu. We highly recommend doing so, although you may run into a boss or two that requires such a unique button combo that you'll want to temporarily turn them back on. But what of the action, the rapidly beating heart of any Ninja Gaiden game? Laudably, it still pulses with an unmatched vigor. Ninja hero Ryu Hayabusa is, for all intents and purposes, a superhero, and you'll feel like one as you dash about each area, slashing, stabbing, and plunging your sword through a series of partially wounded foes to finish them off in rapid, successive, glorious fashion. You're nearly unstoppable. Nearly unstoppable. To that end, Ninja Gaiden 3 doesn't walk the line of challenge versus fun as carefully as the previous games. Here, Ryu's foot is clearly on the fun side of things, meaning you won't die nearly as often as you're used to in the series. However, tougher tests of metal are available for masochistic franchise fans.
Please, let me live. Not me, mate. Not me. I should have never taken this job. I got a family, mate. Come on. You gotta understand. Listen, I'm just trying to feed my kid. Please, don't come any closer. You're not human.
The deeper you get into combat, the clearer the differences are between Itagaki's Ninja Gaidens and this one. Whereas the earlier titles offered a deep, customizable experience through a full weapon and economy system, Ninja Gaiden 3 presents a much more streamlined campaign. Gone is every primary weapon save for Ryu's single sword. You still have shurikens. Nor is there yellow essence currency earned from opening chests and killing creatures. In the earlier games, you could use it to buy gameplay-altering death dealers such as a scythe, a staff, or claws. Moreover, while the older games let you become proficient with your favorite weapon or strategically choose the right one for a given group of enemies, Here, you're stuck with a non-upgradable sword. This paring down also applies to Ryu's health. It regenerates after each battle, so health restoring items have been excised. Even Nimpo magic has changed from a valuable, oh my god, once I deploy it, consumable, to a use it or lose it perk that powers up during each encounter. Finally, we're puzzled by the removal of, well, limb removal. For a game built on the prospect of conveying what it feels like for a ninja to cut someone down through the aforementioned steel-on-bone QTE finishing moves, Ryu's inability to slice off arms, legs, and heads makes Ninja Gaiden 3 a lot less empowering than its gory predecessor. After finishing Ninja Gaiden 3, we went back and played Ninja Gaiden 2 to remind ourselves how it truly felt to cut people down. Ninja Gaiden 3 is also shorter than its forebears, although that's partly a function of the eased default difficulty level. The campaign is split into 8 days with a plot involving a terrorist group that's taken a bizarre personal interest in Hayabusa. Though the boss battles are nowhere near as numerous or as memorable as you'd expect from a Ninja Gaiden game, the story runs circles around the other games. Except for one eye-rolling, here's why I did it bad guy explanation at the end, the engrossing tale fuels you with plenty of motivation to slice up the scumbags. We like hearing more from Ryu and seeing him unmasked. We also appreciated the brand new directional indicator, click the right stick, which helps guide you on the proper path anytime a frenetic battle leaves you spun around and unsure where to go next, something that happens quite a bit in the series. That's exactly why they put that feature in the previous game. Good research, Jeff. I'm sorry, I should know. Okay. Outside of the campaign, Ninja Gaiden 3 delivers a multiplayer suite for the first time in the series' Xbox history. Ninja Trials are more or less the equivalent of Modern Warfare's Spec Ops mode, dropping you either solo or with a friend into 10 different scenes cut from the campaign's cloth. Alone, there are 5 to 10 minute tests of your skill, but in co-op over Xbox Live, they become alluring exercises in teamwork. Meanwhile, the 8-player Ninja Battle Mode, where teams of 4 ninjas fight deathmatch style, is slow to appeal, but grows more entertaining as you level up and unlock new moves and attacks. We're also pleased that Ninja Cinema returns, allowing you to go back and admire your campaign or multiplayer handwork via a video replay. If all of this reads like the evisceration of a horrible game, that's definitely not the case. It's a matter of context. Compared to its predecessors, Ninja Gaiden 3 is a noticeable step back due largely to all the gameplay decisions that are taken out of your hands. Stacked up against its contemporaries, however, it still stands among the finest fast action experiences on the Xbox, Bayonetta accepted. Damn right, shit. Ryu is a card-carrying member of the Badass Club, and the time spent both behind and without his mask is riveting. Two-player co-op in the Ninja Trials is a treat, while the 8-player Ninja Battle is refreshingly different from other modern online offerings, even if it's ultimately not compelling enough to keep you playing for months on end. That contradicts itself. What? Jesus. No, okay, no. Given the rare and tumultuous circumstances that led to such a turnover at Team Ninja, it's fair to wonder what Itagaki's Ninja Gaiden 3 would have been like. Still, this version of Ninja Gaiden 3, the one created by Yosuke Hayashi and his crew, is what we get, and it deserves praise for being a great way an Xbox action fan can spend $60. It may not live up to the series' impossibly high standards, but it's still a gem in its own right. But hold on, there's an update on extra in-game weapons. A pair of title updates to Ninja Gaiden 3 will add in a couple of extra weapons familiar to series veterans. On April 3, Ryu's Talons will return, while the Scythe, aka the Dablihara for OG Ninja Gaiden fans, will be dropped into the campaign on April 17th. We had a chance to try out each in the game's first mission, and they both feel as good as ever. The Dablihara. Oh my god. The Dablihara is the sword from the first game, you asshole. The Scythe is the Eclipse Scythe. There's a different... No, there's more. Hold on. The Scythe is an absolute powerhouse with high damage attacks that lets you slay basic enemies quickly and leave shield-bearing guards defenseless with its mighty swing. It is, of course, very slow, and thus quicker foes and certain bosses actually get a leg up on you when you use it. But with the scythe in hand, we destroyed the first spider tank in a heartbeat. Meanwhile, the Talons are all about speed, and we found that to be especially effective against fleet-footed opponents like, say, your masked nemesis at the end of day 1. We appreciate that these weapons are free, and though it would have been much more egregious to have asked gamers to pay extra for them, it nevertheless begs the question, why weren't these items in the shipping version of the game? The lack of weapon and combat variety is one of the more serious complaints levied in our review, and having these 2 badass blades in Ryu's arsenal right out of the gate would have gone a long way towards alleviating the issue. Thus, we wouldn't begrudge you for waiting until April 17 to play through Ninja Gaiden 3. We promise your experience will be better for it. 8 out of 10. Holy shit. Ryan McCaffrey? I don't even know what to say. Well, there is something to say, actually. I'm questioning whether he's actually really paying attention to this game. Maybe he was zoning out when he was playing, because he misspelled Ryu Hayabusa's name every single time he typed it in the review. No, really, he did. There's 3 A's. Hayabusa. Hayyabusa. I know it's kind of a weird name, but you'd think that if you actually gave even a fraction of a shit about anything with Ninja Gaiden in it, you'd catch that one? I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. But wait, there's more! OXM even gave us a helpful chart to help us figure out what kind of ninja I am. You don't just play a Ninja Gaiden game for the fun, you play it for the challenge. And we have all these difficulties. Hero, normal, you might as well call it Wussfest 2012. Don't even bother if you're a Gaiden veteran. Yeah, don't even bother playing this game if you're a Gaiden veteran is the proper advice, actually. But how about we get a second opinion? Ninja Gaiden 3 review. What a Bloody Disaster by Mitch Dyer. Ninja Gaiden used to be about careful combat for skilled players. Knowing the skill set inside and out was as important as understanding individual opponents, and digging into the complex mechanics was necessary to succeed. One basic enemy could kill Ryu Hayabusa, and getting him out of each encounter alive was an accomplishment. Ninja Gaiden 3 rejects this identity in an attempt to do something fresh and interesting with its hero. This is an admirable ambition that's ultimately responsible for many of the sequel's numerous failures. Shallow combat, a misguided narrative focus, and awful pacing cripple what could have been the most interesting entry in the series' history. With Ninja Gaiden 3, Team Ninja displays an obsession with newfound emptiness that anchors the action, betrays fans, and repels newcomers. In one of the early encounters, an unarmed enemy begs for his life, takes off his ski mask to show you his face, and talks about providing for his family. The only option is to walk slowly toward the man before cutting him down. As intended, it's an unsettling scene. No, it isn't. Thematically, Ninja Gaiden 3 strives for a dark story that wants to be taken seriously. It positions itself as a contemplative character study and reflection on Ryu's psychological struggle with his monstrous ethics. In both the grand scheme and moment-to-moment of Ninja Gaiden 3, this aspect falls short of its intended mark. Right before the credits roll, an ally reassures Ryu he's not a murderer. Hayabusa took 2,110 lives after 8 hours according to my stat tally, some of which were more pleading, unarmed men. The questions Ninja Gaiden 3 asks its character throughout its narrative diametrically oppose the events that precede and follow them. Ryu has no motivational consistency, and there are frequent narrative contradictions that left me with more questions than answers. Didn't she betray me? Why am I fighting a boss again instead of rescuing those people? Didn't I kill him? Oh, another betrayal. Ninja Gaiden's new focus flails while telling a meaningless story that gets in the way. The prominence of poor storytelling interrupts the slicing and dicing so often that Ninja Gaiden 3 can't keep an enjoyable pace. Ryu's arm is plagued by the blood of his past and present victims, which regularly causes him to slow down and clutch his infected appendage. Why? The arm doesn't play an interesting role during gameplay. Beyond the inconvenience, it serves no purpose. It just handicaps your mobility for brief periods, and the AI doesn't take advantage of it. If anything, they dial back the aggression. Coming out of one cinematic and walking a short distance to another is irritating as well. Even if you're not interested in what Ninja Gaiden 3 is trying to say, it's going to tell you. These scripted sequences may mean to add tension or gravity, but the reality is that they get in the way of unleashing violence, which is the real reason anyone plays Ninja Gaiden. Somewhere along the way, Team Ninja forgot this is what made Ninja Gaiden great. Nothing about Ninja Gaiden 3 is difficult or even challenging enough to be amusing. Enemies here are harmless. More often than not, the soldiers, ninja, or monsters pop out simply waiting to die. Ninja Gaiden compensates for this with a disarming quantity of guys to kill, which is a cheap cop-out that emphasizes its creative vacancy. Repetition sinks in early, hits hard, and doesn't let up. In addition, the erratic and unreliable targeting means missing marks more often than is acceptable for a franchise revered for precision. In another questionable step backward, Ryu sticks with just one weapon for the entire game. The most challenging thing about Ninja Gaiden 3 is dealing with its confused camera. It tries to highlight big moments via swooping angles and cool cuts, but it can't keep up with the events. How is this perspective more distracting and disorienting in 2012 than it was in 2004? More importantly, how can something this chaotic be so thoroughly unexciting? Such archaic design dominates Ninja Gaiden 3. Structurally, it feels more like Dynasty Warriors than anything else. You'll kill a dozen or so identical enemies in a locked arena, wait for the next wave, and do it again. Every so often you'll unleash magic to wipe out everyone on screen. Once you've killed 20 to 50 guys, you'll exit the arena, enter another, and fight 20 to 50 more hostiles. Boss battles are similarly interminable. Bisecting a goddess and cutting the arms off a biological experiment could have been climactic finales to otherwise uninteresting two similar spectacles. Instead, enemies regenerate lost limbs, repair their bodies, or have armored plates protecting what you thought you destroyed. Worse, Ninja Gaiden recycles bosses frequently. You can expect to fight numerous big bads repeatedly and to do so in the same predictable fashion you did last time. Getting through 5 foes used to mean something. Maybe you'd be rewarded with a decapitation for your effort. Now the reward for enduring Ninja Gaiden 3 is, well, more of it. Team Ninja has too many terrible new ideas that ultimately end up interfering with one another. The throwaway multiplayer mode would have been the one thing worth experiencing if the co-op challenges were even on par with the campaign. Tasks such as press the attack button repeatedly or throw a shuriken demand even less effort than the single player. Multiplayer isn't just tacked on or superfluous, it's also plain bad. The uninspired deathmatch mode is so straightforward, and the character customization is so limited, there's nothing to keep you coming back. Not that Ninja Gaiden 3 ever gives anyone a good reason to pay attention in the first place. The verdict. Ninja Gaiden 3 is a gash on the face of the franchise, one of the worst games the action genre has yet suffered. It has no consideration for its fans' wants or what a new audience may have enjoyed. It's a nightmare that's as easy as it is uninteresting, and it abandons what used to work for awful new ideas that don't work together. Under no circumstance should you ever waste your time on this self-indulgent and abysmal wreck. 3 out of 10.